like books.
Books are great.
Let's
Guess
go
we'll read some books.
Welcome to WeRead. Let's go read some WeRead. Let's books.
Okay. 6 billion rings. Chapter 3 of Unoffendable, How Just One Change Can Make All of Life Better by Brant, Hanson. Chapter 3, 6 billion rings. Unoffendable, Just How One Change Can Make All of just how life better.
And better. And apparently we're switching to an IGN page about how to get 6 billion rings in Sonic. I'm curious.
6 billion rings, yeah. So, we're going to edit in, I'm going to have my editor edit in the Sonic ring sound effect 6 billion times.
Yes, while we're talking. It won't be annoying at all.
So if this episode is like 3 months long, just ignore it. Okay. Just skip to the 2 month and 29 days and 23 hours and 50 minutes mark.
Yes.
For the rest of the episode. Hi, baby girl. Gloria's with us this episode.
Mm-hmm. Right now she's digging her face in my chest. That's very cute.
There's something powerful and incredibly compelling about someone who is both powerful and compelling. Who refuses to be offended. My friend Michael is a very evangelical Christian. He decided to open up a coffee shop in the downtown of a city with a large university, in the middle of a thriving arts scene. He opened it right in the middle of the usual assortment of feminist bookstores and hipster apartments. He planned to bring in big-name Christian musicians for concerts and feature evangelical speakers. The local paper wrote about him and his wife and their purchase of one of the most significant buildings in the downtown area, as well as their evangelical plans for the coffee house. I winced when I saw the article. I had other friends in that neighborhood and knew that none of them would welcome this development. In fact, before Michael bought the building, it had hosted the community's biggest arts event of the year. It was an exhibition to benefit AIDS research, and it featured local art, some of the very intentionally transgressive variety. We could see the culture war coming. One of the exhibit organizers saw Michael on the street and asked how things were going with the remodeling of the building. He also mentioned to Michael that, of course, he and his team would be looking for a new place for their exhibition this year. Michael said, no, they wouldn't need to do that. They could still have the event in the building. They were welcome. The guy was stunned. Really, he said. That's not necessary.
He knew Michael wouldn't want this kind of crowd in his coffee house.
Michael told him that not only were they welcome, but he'd pay for all the catering. He'd buy the wine and the horse d'oeuvres.
I pronounce it that way too. Hors d'oeuvres.
Well, it's horse d'oeuvres. Horse d'oeuvres.
Horse d'oeuvres. You're the one who took like 6 years of French.
Yeah, and it's horse d'oeuvres, I'm telling you. Listen, okay, from 6 years of French, that's horse d'oeuvres. And okay. Anybody who's gonna tell me wrong needs to have at least 7 years of French to do so.
Or be fluent, I guess.
Because that's how it works. They couldn't believe it. What about the art that Michael would surely find offensive? Michael said they were welcome anyway, and they were. My wife and I went to the exhibit, and sure enough, we didn't like some of the art, for a variety of reasons. Though much of it was stunningly thoughtful and beautiful, but Michael had told the event organizers that he didn't need to appreciate all the art, he just wanted to make them feel at home. Instead of being evicted by Christians from the best location for the exhibit, the artists were welcomed. Michael and his wife met everyone at the door. He dressed in a tuxedo and offered everyone chocolate-covered strawberries. Live music filled the room. It turned out to be the best exhibit the group had ever had. That was Michael's style. He hugged everybody. He talked freely about Jesus, but people didn't mind. He told me he would just talk to people about the goodness of God because he knew deep down that everyone is yearning for a God like that.
An acquaintance of ours who ran a business nearby was open about her distaste for Christians and her affinity for Wicca. Yeah, I know. But she loved Michael and would listen to talk about Jesus. She said she knew he was different because when she dropped by his coffee shop in her all-black apparel, he'd run over and hug her. She knew he wasn't offended by her. He loved her, and not just as a project. He liked her, even. Christians in the community wanted Michael to be offended, to draw another line in the sand. You're supposed to get angry, and maybe even picket these kinds of people. Michael fed them strawberries. That sounds a little bit strange.
He was less interested in what Christians thought than he was about his chance to introduce offensive people to God, who loves us all and wants to change us all. Love, as it turns out, covers a multitude of offenses. Man, that sounds familiar. It sure opens doors and hearts too. That's an interesting story.
That is an interesting story.
Man, I could just see it. Like, if this actually happened to somebody I knew, everybody would be accusing him of syncretism and secularism.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm sure he got a lot of backlash where, you're compromising your beliefs in their shop, things like that. Because there are news stories all the time, people who refuse to do that kind of thing.
Can't believe you affiliate with these people.
Yeah. Well, people who, refuse to make cakes or draw t-shirts or whatever and then get a lawsuit out of them, and he just decided to do it. I could see a lot of people, I don't know.
There's definitely both sides to this. But I think he's using this as an example of somebody who had every right to be offended and I guess waived that right.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Your life will become less stressful when you give up your right to anger and offense. And by the way, if you don't, you're doomed. So there's that too. What?
You are doomed!
Doomed?
Doom is such a fun word. There's a whole page on tvtropes.com called Doomy Dooms of Doom.
Maybe if I sneak up on it. Oh, I got it!
And C.S. Lewis wrote The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is a good book. And a pretty good movie. The sequels were a little I can't believe they made Susan Kiss Caspian. No. Anywho.
Wait, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the Chronicles of Narnia.
I thought we were doomed.
We're all doomed.
Come on, please. I don't want to highlight this one word at a time. Okay, last try.
It's okay. Baby's about to break my glasses.
Why can't I get,
Baby's about to...
You're doomed, so. C.S. Lewis wrote, "One man may be placed so that his anger sheds the blood of thousands, and another so placed that however angry he gets, he will only be laughed at. But the little mark on the soul may be much the same in both. Each has done something to himself which, unless he repents, will make it harder for him to keep out of the rage next time he is tempted, and will make the rage worse when he does fall into it. Each of them, if he seriously turns to God, can have that twist in the central man straightened out again. Each is in the long run doomed if he will not. The bigness or smallness of the thing, seen from the outside, is not what really matters. Forgive in the big things and the small things. Don't take offense. In fact, the stuff that usually might offend us is a huge opportunity. Jesus told us we will be forgiven as we forgive others."
Fact is, most of us don't get that many opportunities to forgive. Once I realized that, traffic went from being an exercise in anger to forgiveness practice. Life is so much better than that way. So what if, just dreaming out loud here, Christians were known as the people you couldn't offend? I used to be scandalized by other people's moral behavior. I'm just not anymore. It frees up a lot of mental space. And
really?
And we probably need more of that, to pause and reflect on what matters in life. Sure, I've used my free mental space for baseball statistics and Duran Duran lyrics, but I can do better. So can you. Sweet, so it's like putting some extra RAM on your...
It's like,
internal,
It's like defragmenting and getting rid of the...
That's a good metaphor.
Temporary files. It's not that I think that potentially offensive behavior is right or good. Not even close. It's just that it's not about me. And you know what? I'll tell you one thing. If I made the commitment to not be offendable, I would save a ton on my water bill.
Yes.
Do you understand? I would save so much money on my water. My water bill would lose $20 or $30. Seriously. Every month.
Be worth it for that.
I spend all this time in the shower arguing with myself and going over scenarios in my head where I felt like I didn't get the upper hand in the discussion.
Can we use that money to buy some sushi? Can we do that? Become unoffendable, save water bill, and use that money to go buy sushi. I think it's a plan.
Yes, write that down. You're hired.
Okay. It's also involve sushi.
It's not that I think that potentially offensive behavior is right or good. Not even close. It's just that it's not about me. I'm not going to be threatened or scandalized by someone else's immoral behavior. So what if, just dreaming out loud here, Christians were known as the people you couldn't offend? Yeah, we get angry, can't avoid it. But I now know that anger can't live here. I can't keep it, I can't try it on, see how it looks. I have to take it to the cracks of doom, like now, and drop that thing, much as I want to wear it a while. No, I'm really going to try to not use 4,000 Lord of the Rings analogies in this book. I may fail.
So Cracks of Doom is a legitimately Lord of the Rings thing?
Yeah, the cracks of Mount Doom.
Oh, okay. It just
Where
sounds
the
inappropriate.
ring was forged, where he poured all of his greed and hate into the ring.
Jeez. I'm just thinking a lot of really inappropriate things you could say for Cracks of Doom.
If you wanted to use 4,000 Lord of the Rings analogies, I think I'd be okay with that. Oh, maybe that's where the 6 billion rings comes from.
Ah.
I'm not entitled to anger because I'm me. I can't handle anger. I cannot steward this ring. It is too much of a burden for me to bear. I don't have the strength of character to do it. Only God does. We can trust Him with it. Jesus gets angry, but His character is beyond question. So He is entitled.
And nobody else is.
We all think that we deserve to carry anger, but it will destroy us unless we let it go. We have to deny ourselves, Karen. We have to die to ourselves, Karen. To surrender ourselves, Karen!
I'm trying. It's Lent. It's hard.
Whatever it takes, Karen.
Anger is like the One Ring, but the Lord of the Rings analogy breaks down here. There's not a single hyper-destructive One Ring to be thrown into the cracks of Mordor. There's like 6 billion.
Drop yours off at the nearest Mountain Doom.
Drop your ring, drop your ring. That'd make a good rap song.
Please rewind it before you take it back. It's so annoying when you get like a ring of power and the last person used it didn't rewind it. Ugh. That'll leave you with enough to chew on for today. Say goodbye, Gloria.
Can you say something? Can you
Say
go,
bye, Gloria, baby. Say next time when we read. Come on. Say bye. This is the book song. I make it up as I go along. I'm singing so that the credits have time to roll. This is the book song. It's getting worse because I don't rehearse. So click on the next video and let's all read some books.